Hexicans, crypto pirates, welcome to your Discord syndicates FN Hangout. And hold on a second, I've got wiring problems. Hold on, guys. We gotta fix this. I can't do this. Hold on. Sorry. Technical difficulties. We got a problem. We have got a serious problem. We had that disaster here in the studio. One of my studio lights literally fell out and landed on the floor and busted all over the place. And now I have glass in my foot, which I knew I was going to get glass in my foot. Now I got glass in my foot. And now my headphone cable was all jacked up inside the chair. Hello, everybody. How's it going? Crypto pirates. How's my peeps doing? Crypto compassion. What's up, dude? Good to see you. Good to see you. Oh, and cheers. Let me finish my shot. Shout out to my baby girl, my coyote. She gets me the coffee beans for my espresso. She works at a coffee shop and grabs me some good beans. Love that stuff. Anyway, compassion. Hex down under. What's up? What's up? Let's see. Hex down under says the worst has passed. Time for reward for those who stayed focused. You think? Yeah, I think so too, man. It's about time for some reward. Lots of good stuff going on tonight, though. Sandy Beach, my lady. Welcome. How are you doing? Melv Tony, always good to have you. Thanks, Melv. And thanks for always going in and commenting and liking and having everybody else do the same. Guys, if you want to help us out, comment, go in the comment section, say whatever you want. It's okay. You can be critical or whatever. And make a comment, hit the subscribe button, do all that stuff. Make things a little more algorithmic around here. Algorithmic YouTube channel. Crypto Surfer. What's up, dude? Do you still surf? Yeah, I surf twice a week. I go on Thursdays and Sundays. This week, sat out Thursday, had some stuff to take care of. I got a elderly family member that I take care of, and I wasn't able to go Thursday. I had to take care of some business, but I'm supposed to go tomorrow, and I am supposed to also go on Sunday because we are 4 to 6, baby. 4 to 6 and good. 4 to 6 and good. So yes, still surfing, and this weekend is going to be epic. Only thing is, during the week, I decided, hey, I got a little ding I got to fix on my tail. Opened up the tail, started to fix the ding, and it was a lot worse. I thought it goes into the foam, so I ended up get some foam repair. I got in there and worked the foam. Now I've got to finish the glass job and fix the ding, but I'm probably just going to leave it at the foam repair for now and just take it out that way because that's the board I want to take tomorrow. So anyway, yeah, little hiccup, but not a big deal. Jay, everything, welcome. Hey, the Hex Sword, what's up? The Hex Sword, are you the guy that's making the cool swords? X? Man, love that cutlass you had. If that's you. If not, never mind. Let's see. Canadian Grateful. Happy Friday, peeps. Here for financial advice. Buying tops and round tripping bags. Let's go. Yes, let's buy tops and sell some bottoms. Retard I2 $1. Yes. AJ, Rip City Hex, what's up? Poorah. What's up, dude? Who else is in here? Giga. Hey, what's up, Giga? Oh, hey to you too, man. Hexander. I assume Gary Guzzler has no idea what's coming. Yes, I think we are going to be rid of him. I had a conversation with a politician who said that no matter who takes over the seat of power, whether it be Republicans or Democrats or some independent, which is doubtful, then it looks like either way, Gensler's gone, from what I've been told. So anyway, Sandy, wow, look at those dreads. Yeah, they're only half mine. They're like, I got like 8-9 inches now, and they're locking up here. So, and then the rest of it's kind of like just a little extension to help keep it going But yeah, it's definitely my hair's all locked up on top, doing nice. But yeah, rocking the dreads, rocking the dreads, having fun with it. I like them. Let's see. Lost Child, what's up, Lost? What's up with you, man? Good to see you. And to Wild SJ, who's also in the back room there, hanging out in the green room. Joe Mama, no, you're not late. You're just in time. Just in time. Ross Hex. Has anyone ever been more deserving of glass in their foot? Oh, Ross, come on, dude. I'm not Gary, or who else you bag on all the time. Gosh, you've got a couple of them that you really love getting to. Who's your favorite? I forget. Ross, damn it. One of the OGs, you really pound on him. But anyway. Oh, is it Toby? Is it Toby that you're always fucking with? I'm not sure. Anyway. Let's see. Oh, geez. We had a little expert flirt from Thoughtschild in there. And said, whatever, had help with the algorithm. Yes, help with the algorithm. That's me, Swordmaker. Hey, good, man. Dude, man, I love that cutlass, you guys. Freaking dope. That's a badass sword you made. Oh, yeah, and the Hex sword, too. Yes. Freaking to go with everybody's shields. I never got one of those shields. They look on you, RG. They look good on me, or they look like shit on me? I didn't. You said they look on you, so they look. All right. Well, I'll wait for the rest of it. Let's see. The specs is fresh. Yeah. Oh. Okay. Yeah. These are my old specs. I got a couple of new pairs. I got some Lokes, but yeah, my lenses aren't fitting in all of them. I bought a bunch of cheap pairs of Lokes, but I haven't made. And anyway, whatever. All that being said, hello everybody, welcome. This is your show. So if you want to come in, I've got people in the green room already, so we're gonna bring them up, not waste too much time. But what a heck of a week, man! We had a heck of a week. I just got word right now that the newest project on with Gift Tech was launched. Again, not financial advice, and all these things are speculative and very, very and extremely dangerous to operate, function, and use. But there is a new burn protocol that is called Pulsar that is bringing Titanx value from Ethereum and bringing it to PulseChain. How cool of an idea is that? Boom. Mint your Pulsar, mints over on PulseChain. You've moved and extracted value through the bridge, exchanged it, put liquidity into a locked pool in a DEX for the token that you just minted, and you brought that value all the way over to PulseChain. I think that's a cool idea. I've been working with those guys for a while on it, and we'll see how it goes. It's taken them a while to get that bridge up and running because there were some issues with going back through the bridge and creating tokens on the other side, but they finally got it all worked out, and it just launched just a few. So you want to go check it out. That's the Pulsar is launched and going. So anyway, there's Giff himself in the chat room, guys. So like, you know, I've worked with a lot of people in the crypto space, and it's especially when it comes to coding, it is a very fickle, finicky, weird place. Like, you motherfuckers are weird. I'm sorry. You developers, you fucking crypto devs, you motherfuckers are weird, man. You guys are out there. Like, man, the shit that I've seen some of you guys pull and do, and my God, what's the matter with you guys? You guys were in your damn mama's basements too long, sucking on too many Hot Pockets. That is for sure. Like, you guys got some Hot Pocket brain damage or some shit going on, because Anyway, I don't want to get on a tangent about devs, but there's a handful of them that I've met that are just phenomenal, that work hard, want to make things better, want to do good things. And Gift's one of those guys, man. I've watched him go from, you know, a guy that was, you know, a developer to cutting edge DeFi developer, like building stuff that nobody's ever seen before, and doing it in a way where he's like, self-taught himself, and been mentored. Of course, he has some really badass mentors in the PulseChain space. But he's done a phenomenal job. Every time that he's come out with one of these protocols, he's backed it up. He's put it out there, made sure it worked. And if there was something that wasn't, like the best feature or didn't give us the dynamic feature that we wanted on it, he went back to the drawing board and made them better. Every time he's been doing better and better work. And even with this last challenge coming over the bridge, which is nobody's ever done this before. Like nobody has done what GIF just did. So if you go check out Pulsar, you can see exactly what's happening there. Is he is literally taking value from Ethereum and bringing it over to the PulseChain. So, man, congratulations, GIF. My hat's off to you. You kicked ass, man. And he's literally been up for like the last 4 days, fixing an issue that they had coming over the bridge. So, man, some security thing and whatnot. And he took it down so that there wouldn't be any problems. And he's literally been non-stop working on it. So proud of you. Great job, GIF. Congratulations, bro. You deserve it. And go get some rest and wake up and see what kind of success you've had. All right. So, look at Crypto Stylist is in there. How you doing, Crypto Stylist? Let's see who else. Geez. All right, everybody. I am going to bring up, we've got our friend. What's happening, buddy? Sorry.
What's up, Captain? How we doing, buddy?
I'm good. We got somebody else in here too.
Bring him up.
I believe he's my partner in crime, another one. And that is Jameson. What's up, dude?
Hey, what's up, man? I wasn't sure if I was actually in the green room or not. It's been a while since I've been on StreamYard.
Yeah, you can only see yourself, so you can't really tell if anybody knows you're there or what,
Okay, let me try and fix video.
Let's see. Oh, yeah.
Sweet.
So it
looks like come on and talk Pulsar, right?
Hey, man.
Hey.
Like, yeah, it's cool. I like right when I was firing up the show, GIF sent the message over saying, hey, it's up and running, everything's live. So it looks like everything is fired up and moving. And I was just telling everybody about GIF and what he does and how he does it. And I've run into a lot of devs in this space, but I haven't run into any quite like him, that are as tenacious as he is, that just won't stop, won't let a problem stop him. Just keeps going, keeps looking for the answer, finds the right place, the people, whatever. Even though this is stuff that has never been done before, like nobody's ever done this, he's like, I'm going to freaking do it. And I'm going to figure out how to do it. And if somebody can't help me, then I'll make it happen. And half the time he gets some help and geez, what was that?
A little pop in.
What was
AJ
that?
Pierce. I know.
Pressing buttons.
Oh,
You guys
well,
did
at
a
least
great
I
job.
thought I didn't know what you kind of clothes you had on there for a second.
I'm clothed.
Come on.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, that
it
looks sketchy for a second. I
the
saw
first
it out of the
shot.
corner of my eye, and all I saw was skin.
Like, goodness gracious. Thanks for the
Warning.
Next time it'll be my feet.
Oh boy.
Jeez.
That's all we need. Well, maybe it'll up the ratings. We'll get some of the feet guys in here.
Jeez.
So anyway, how you doing? How you doing, Compassion? What's happening, buddy?
I'm doing good, man. That's really cool that Pulsar is coming to here because goodness gracious. I mean, I know I got some Titan miners coming out here in about 10 days. Let's go.
Nice.
Yeah, let's go. It's
Nice.
good stuff.
Yeah,
I know the team's been working really hard. I mean, it's not just GIF. It's also, your boy Kool-Aid in the trenches,
Yep.
Yeah.
He's in
he's
there
nuts
all
on the
the time.
comms.
All the
Yeah.
time in the comms.
Yeah, he goes full force on the comms. But
Yeah.
yeah, there's a lot that was overcome, and unfortunately, I think a lot of that will never really see the light of day. But just know when we say that there was a lot of stuff that went into this, and some things that were overcome, there was a lot there, right? And sometimes the public doesn't need to know the whole story to it; they just need to know that the thing is working now, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
And even with launching and then having to take a step back for a week and relaunching, there's issues on the PulseChain side that occurred. And so we had to redeploy. And so that's essentially what happened was some of the contracts needed to get redeployed. So you'll be able to move over or convert your Pulsar V0 to essentially real Pulsar. And there's no fee on that. There's just the approval fee. So you selecting the amount and approving that. So there's no additional transaction fee on top of that. And then it just mints 1-to-1. So essentially we're just allowing you to convert from the old Pulsar, the old contract, to the new one, which interestingly enough, that does open up because there's 13 billion Pulsar V0, maybe a meme opportunity for somebody who wants to build on that because it is permanently deflationary now. And as people continue to mint from V0 to the real Pulsar, there's going to be less and less of it. So that could get interesting. You can play with that if they want to. But yeah, that's all up. And then we were just testing it this morning, working out a few additional little tiny front end bugs. There's a few things that we're going to continue to dial in, but it's there.
Nice.
So, Jameson, so for the kids at home, what's the ratio as far as, you know, what's needed for the functionality? Because I remember it used to be like 1 billion for 1 ETH, and then it kind of switched up a little bit. Can you?
It's dynamic now.
Yeah. Can you explain that? Okay, it's dynamic. Okay.
Yeah, it's just based off the price of Titan X.
Okay.
So
cool.
Okay, so here's a great conversation. Somebody asked this before. Why would Pulsar ever go above an 8-to-1 ratio? Well, it essentially shouldn't. But are we assuming Titan X is going to go up or Titan X is going to stay the same? Because if we're assuming Titan X is going to go up, we would want to mint Pulsar now because we're going to get more. Because as Titan X goes up, the cost to mint Pulsar is going to go up.
Right.
So if you, especially for small stacks, if you want to, get more out of your money now, then you would want to mint now. Because there's also like now what happens with Pulsar, like we're permanently binding LP on PulseChain, the PulseChain network. So now we can actually start building, and builders can be confident knowing that there's locked LP of Titan X on PulseChain. We can actually start building on the Pulse network. So this is like the base now. This is the foundation for ourselves and other builders to now actually start to do some really fun stuff on PulseChain with Titan X, because now we're bringing some over. We're bringing over real Titan X onto that network. So the party's really just started, right? And so, yeah, those are some of the reasons why you would probably want to get in earlier versus waiting. And then what we continue to build, we'll keep that close to the chest for now, but there's a lot more planned. And now that the big stressful thing is done, it's like now we can have some fun. We can play around with some, I guess you could, for lack of better words, call it some simpler protocols and, mining, staking, all the kind of fun stuff, the icing. We can look at that now that we've done the big task of bridging over economic energy onto Pulse, right?
Yeah.
So
we need to put the new contract address, because obviously the old contract address is no good anymore.
Yeah. So do you have that, or you want me to give that to you?
Yeah.
It's on the bottom of the site as well. So it's the same URL. It's just pulsar.giffordware.win. Let's put that in. If you guys want to put that in the chat, I'll share it in private. I don't think I'm logged in to be able to share that in the public chat, but there's that. And then at the bottom, there'll be the new contract, and you can go ahead and plug that in the DEX scanner. Now we'll start to pull that up. There's the link in the contract address.
Let me see here.
And then in the Telegram, we shared the PulsarPathway and the buy and burn as well, which those will be activated by probably like mid next week, Giff was saying.
Yeah.
We want to let liquidity build up a bit before we allow, publicly called function to, buy and burn the PulsarPathway, et cetera. So we'll just give that some time to kind of build up funds.
Cool. Yeah, SJ, you can put those two links in the description. I'd appreciate it. The contract and there we go. Oh, and there he is. The man himself has actually jumped into the green room. I'm surprised.
Okay, good. He said he was gonna, and I was like, bro, did you leave us hanging or what?
So, ladies and gentlemen, everybody, the man himself, Giff. What's up, dude?
Sorry, I've been stuck in a cave for months, so I'm not very presentable.
He threw his beanie on nice. All right. Well, let us have it, man. Tell us what's going on with your baby that you've been in the closet with for the last few days.
Oh, there's so much to talk about. Where do I even start? First, let me put me in. Yeah, here we go. Is that okay? Does that work okay? That's not great, is it?
Try a different background. That one looks like you're kind of like the ghost in the living room.
That's fine.
Yeah, green screen's kind of means some of that out.
Hey, Canadian.
There you go.
Grateful, we're gonna put all the links in the description there, and then also that's the link to the Pulsar site, and then you can go in there and pull the contract off the bottom. It says Pulsar contract on the bottom. You can pull it right off of there. And that's,
all right. There's so much to talk about. I don't even know where to start. Where do you guys want to start?
Well, let's start out with what was your goal, man? What were you wanting to do with TitanX? And what was it that Pulsar is doing with TitanX so that we can like start off there? Because there's probably a lot of people have questions and want to know, what is it that you did? What did you do and why'd you do it?
Okay, so if we back up, obviously, for those who do know or maybe don't know, I've been in the ecosystem for a little while now, right? Started off in the icosahedron ecosystem and got into that, and then I started to teach myself how to code, and then eventually, joined up with a few other partners, and we were looking at building some stuff that's going to help out PulseChain, and then out of nowhere, TitanX kind of came out. And very controversial, what's it for? Who's the founder? What's the point of all this? Is this another, Zen type clone that's just going to go down and to the right? And we're all kind of pleasantly surprised with just the simple fact that the tokenomics were very interesting, right? Implementing essentially all the cool tokenomics of all these other ecosystems and kind of plugging it all into one. So we thought that was cool. But what really caught my eye was that this was a new community where they started to talk about it's okay to pay devs to build. Like, it's okay to come to market and say, you don't have to, you don't need to, we're not going to do a sacrifice. There's no seed rounds. There's none of this other stuff. We're going to just build out of our own pockets. And then if the community likes it, they use it. And the more they use it, then the devs get a little kickback, right? So it's kind of like a way to be an entrepreneur in the techno or in the crypto industry without it, setting expectations and that sort of thing. So I really like that. So I wanted to build that, but I also really wanted these really cool tokenomics to be built on PulseChain. I didn't want it to only exist on Ethereum. And one thing I noticed within that community is there's a lot of hardcore Ethereum people over there. Like sometimes, in our PulseChain ecosystem, we look over there and like, oh, they like kind of vampire attacked the PulseChain ecosystem. And there's a lot of people from PulseChain over on TitanX. And that is true. There is a lot over there, but that does not represent the majority. It really does not. And so, there was this unique opportunity. It's like, how do we bridge and bind, as Kool-Aid likes to say, bind two L1s together? Mm-hmm. It's like, okay, well, in order to do that, you have to automate bridging somehow. You cannot rely on a large wallet holder or some whale address to do the bridging for anybody. This is crypto. We should be able to automate this. We should be able to trust contracts, not people. So one thing that I started building over in some partners of mine started building over on PulseChain was we started playing around with certain tokenomics. So some of you guys may have heard of the GIF token that we launched, and some of you may have heard of PermaGIF and Noble and all these others, the Icosa Burn protocol, like all these other things that we built. And they are all tests. They all do have value, but we learned a lot from this stuff. And so now we got kind of a handful of tokenomics, and we've learned a lot from how to build the better tokenomics. So let's apply it to this new token called Pulsar, and let's figure out a way that we can automate bridging from Ethereum over to PulseChain, because that's kind of good for everybody. It's good for the TitanX community because we're taking economic energy, which is TitanX, over on the PulseChain and allowing people to build on TitanX on PulseChain. And for the PulseChain ecosystem, we are permanently bridging value to PulseChain that can never be removed. One of the smart contracts that we're using is called the PulsarPathway. And what it does is it receives all the automated bridge tokens of TitanX and Pulsar. And there's only one function, and that's deposits into the PulseX V2 liquidity pool. And it can never withdraw. So as Pulsar gets popular on Ethereum, we are automating real value and depositing it on the PulseChain permanently. So that does a couple of things. One, we're literally taking real like dollar value and we're putting it on a PulseChain permanently, that can never be removed. But what that also does is it gives confidence to anybody who wants to build on our tokens on PulseChain to know there is no such thing as a rug. It cannot happen. It's all hard coded in the contract. So that means that one, no nefarious action could take place, and two, no founder could just up and unstake his tokens and bring it back across the bridge. It's permanently there. It will never change. As long as PulseChain exists, our liquidity pool will exist. Sorry, that was a big mouthful, but I'm just really excited, and I've been in this for days on end, as you can tell.
That's good, man. That's good.
Oh, yeah, dude. And that's a first. Locking it up like that, I'm pretty sure. But I mean, obviously crossing the bridge and making the bridge and having all that happen, which had its complications.
Yeah. I'm not even too sure how often interfacing with the PulseChain Omni Bridge fork has actually been taking place, because we ran into an error the first time around, and we had to reach out to the official PulseChain core dev team to figure out exactly what was going on, and they cleared it up and everything's good now, but we did have to redeploy. So yeah, there's a lot of new ground that was broken in this launch and over this weekend. Big thank you to our very small but hopefully growing community of the Pulsar community, because they hung with us. And some people were out there yelling negative things, and we had a lot of people backing us up and being like, yo, we know these guys. Like, whatever you're saying, you're just seeing something that's not really happening. And so just hang with these guys. They really are trying to make this thing work. And we pulled it off, and now our infrastructure is built, and we're very excited on what's coming next.
Well, I think that people can also look back and if you remember, what it took PulseChain to come out, and how many times we 2-weeked it. I mean, it was a year and a half of 2 weeks, so hats off to you for, fixing, the issues that you ran into within a week. You know what I mean? I mean, that's huge. And on top of it, what you guys did was, you did something nobody else had ever done before. Like, this is brand new shit. Like, nobody has done this, and it's freaking working. So that's, congrats, man. Congrats.
Thank you.
You've impressed me from sitting back in the back rooms and being able to watch this like a fly on the wall, has been just a pleasure to see people actually doing real dev work. Cause I've seen some BS. I mean, and we've even dealt with it, with, devs that we've worked with, until you finally said, you know what, screw it. I'm taking it in house. I'm doing it myself. I don't need anybody else. It was just, I've seen so many devs just flake out or go somewhere else or do something else or not do anything or fake the funk like they were really making something. They weren't making something. I mean, so hats off to you for, getting it done on your own, doing the hard thing, making something that's never happened before happen. And then, and then fixing it when the problems or when the challenges arose. Just freaking great job all around, dude. Freaking hats off to you, man.
I came here to second that.
Yep.
Because I just have also watched like a fly on the wall since the inception of this project. And just to hear the way, and it took me this long to understand it really, and to hear you're the excitement in your voice right now just makes my heart so happy. I'm so just over the moon. And regardless, to me, right, like as someone who's kind of just, gotten to know you a little bit through all of this work, it's really more to me exciting that you've leveled up. Like, this was just like such a huge undertaking, and to know that you have, this challenge that you faced, and just nailed it. You know, it's nice to hear that that's happened for you, and I'm hopeful everything goes awesome with the coin and the launch and the yay Pulsar, woo!
I
And
appreciate
I think
Yeah.
it's great. I think the concept of it is great too, right? Bridging back from Ethereum to PulseChain, like, duh,
Yeah.
awesome. You don't want to bring your money here? We're gonna take it because we're pirates, motherfucker.
Party matey like the pirates. And to that point too, it's like you did something as far as the timing goes too. You'd have to be like living under a rock to not recognize that Titan-X is doing some great things. And so PulseChain's going to do great things. And you guys have brought something where it's like these two boom towns are in the right place, the right time. We're gearing up. PulseChain's about to ignite. And you got to bring in this protocol, like you said, and ignite these powers and just let them go. I mean, the timing's perfect, bud. Appreciate it.
Yeah, it's kind of wild the way it all kind of worked out, but I mean,
Yeah,
it's true. There's a lot of liquidity in the Titan-X ecosystem right now, and obviously there's a ton of liquidity in the PulseChain and Hex ecosystem too. So it's like, dude, like, you know, if we could lock arms and nobody gets to have cold feet, that's great. Like we're gonna lock up. We're gonna see how it goes, and there's a lot of things we can do from this. But one of our core pillars, with everything we've always tried to do, is to bring communities together, not try to separate them. Like I think altogether separating communities is never really a smart play in general. If there is like a symbiotic relationship that can exist, I think that's something that should always be pursued. And so I've always tried to do that, and I get a lot of pushback. Like, trust me, like, not everybody wants to be kumbaya and brought together, right? In any sense of the word. But it's still something I believe it should be a core foundation. And when you're trying to build and unite people, I think that's a way more powerful than building and trying to divide them.
So before we get into all the happy, holding hands and kumbaya stuff, let's talk about, what the value, what are some of the benefits that are happening when the Pulsar pathway is being used, when value is coming over. Let's go over some of the benefits and what that means to the average everyday user that's sitting out there in the chat room going, what the hell is this thing? Okay, I get it. You're going to bridge over value from Titan-X, from Ethereum, create a coin, and then bring it over and duplicate it over here on PulseChain and lock that value up in a liquidity pool. Let's tell people what that means to them in the real world of DeFi.
Well,
what are some of the benefits that they're going to get from coming over the bridge that way?
For coming over the bridge that way, benefits. I mean, there's a lot of different ways we could take this, and it really all comes down to what perspective you're looking from. I'm still holding on the perspective right now is I cannot think of a better token to build on. And as a builder, that's all I really think about doing is like, how can I build on things and how can I make things better? Not like just make my own thing and sit in my own little ecosystem, try to create my own little community. But how do I make something better that I like and play around with more interesting tokenomics? I think we're going to see a whole lot of exciting stuff over the next 7 months or so. And it's not going to be limited to just the Pulsar community or just the PulseChain community or just the Titan-X community. I mean, all this stuff is starting to heat up. I think we're all seeing it in the charts. We're seeing it in the volume. We're seeing it in the active users. We're seeing in the spiking of the gas fees. So there's a lot of exciting things coming, and it's going to be one of those things where it's going to come pretty fast and furious over the next few months. If you're watching charts day to day, it may not feel that way, but if you zoom back and start looking at weekly charts, it's going to really open up the picture.
So let me step it back one more time again and see if I can. I'm going to try and pry this out of you like I can. Okay. So you said you couldn't think of anything else that you'd like to build on. Tell me why you'd like to build. What's the benefits of you building on Titan-X? Why do you think that it's the best thing to build on?
So for one, the ethos was just kind of lining up with what I wanted to do. Okay, that's one. The way that you do this kind of quasi fair launch, right? I mean, it is a fair launch in my assertion, but I can see how other people don't see it that way. But I see it as kind of a fair launch method. I see how the math is breaking down the ability to mint new Titan X and how the liquidity is getting eaten up like crazy in the last couple of weeks. The amount of new protocols being launched, I think we represent the fourth one this weekend of Titan X. We all understand what supply shocks can do to a market, right? And this might be the most intense supply shock we've seen for a minute. We'll see how it plays out. There's no promises, right? I'm not trying to give any financial advice. I'm just saying this is an incredibly interesting ecosystem to build on right now. And I mean, you can make the claim that I'm building on Titan X, and you can also make the claim that I'm building on PulseChain. I don't think it's a either or.
Well, it is both. You're building, because the value that you're bringing over, and the fact that the contract interacts with PulseChain the way it does, you have built, you've set up, you've laid foundation, and now you're pouring it in. You know what I mean? And from there, it's just going to be built on top of, like, and you're building a solid foundation. So again, great job. But what I'm trying to get at, I guess, is, so
I think I know what you're trying to get at, but yeah.
So you said, it's a fair launch. So you like the idea of the fair launch, and for everybody who doesn't understand what a fair launch is, that's where there's no pre-supply and people can just, come in. It's just like, hey, here it is. Get the token. Everybody gets the token, kind of thing. But of course, there were some fair launch tokens out there that have done some funky stuff, whatever. But Titan X seem to have done a pretty decent job of their fair launch. So you like that? You like that it's came out that way? It gives people more a level playing field, I guess, like you said, with the ethos and whatnot. Now, what did you do with Pulsar to improve Titan X? So you built on top of it, but what did you do? What did you do to improve it? What's the value people in the chat room are going to get from it?
So, God, there's so many different ways. I'm gonna
start from the beginning, bro. Just walk it through so people can, like, from soup to nuts, how it starts, how it goes, and then we'll grab things as we go along and talk about them.
All right. Well, I'm gonna need kind of a guide. See, here's the wild part about Pulsar, is that it does a whole lot of really cool, nerdy, interesting, geeky, like.
Do you want to pull up the roadmap there? I
was going to say, let's pull up the flowchart.
Yeah, you want to pull.
Is that where we want to go? Okay.
Yeah, if you want to do that, then you can explain a little bit. People can see it. If we're going to talk about it, I want everybody to kind of.
It's an easy way for them to follow along, I think, too.
Yeah.
Just a minute here.
And if you want to check that out, you can just go to pulsar.win, and it should be near the top.
Oh, that's probably the direction I should have went.
Yeah, go that route. But for anyone else on the stream and checking us out afterwards, and you just click it and it makes it big.
All right, one sec.
All right.
I gotta make sure my OPSEC is good. All right.
All right.
How's that looking?
That's good.
Okay, here you go. All right. So it looks pretty crazy when you just throw it up in front of somebody who's never. But we could thank Kool-Aid for doing such a fantastic job, and Jay, you helped out too on this, putting this bad boy together. Okay, so let's start at the beginning. So you got your user here, right? So your user comes to our DApp, and that's what we got open right now. And you want to mint and get Pulsar. So what you can do is you could turn in your Titan X plus an Ethereum protocol fee in order to mint your Pulsar. So right now, since we had to redeploy, you can also, there's a little drop down box where you can select your Pulsar V0 in the event that you were around for those 5 hours that I had it open to where you could mint Pulsar in the first place. And if you did, you can mint your, you could take your V0 and you can mint the new Pulsar with 0 protocol fee, just 1 for 1. And what happens when you do that is 100% of that Pulsar V0 just gets burnt out of existence live right within that same transaction. You can see it on Etherscan, and then it mints you the new Pulsar. In this scenario where you have your Titan X, so say you've got $1,000 worth of Titan X and you want to mint Pulsar, well, you're gonna have to pay $1,000 worth of Ethereum because the protocol fee is dynamic, which is one thing that we practiced on. So first we did a static call on Permagift when you minted that, and a static call on Icosa burn protocol when you minted that, just different amounts. But then we transitioned into doing what I didn't think was possible, but we figured out a way to make it dynamic so that whatever the value of the token is that you're turning in, you have to pay equal value in a protocol fee. And that becomes very important, and you'll see why that becomes important later on here. So essentially, you get your Pulsar at that moment in time. So all you gotta do is approve the spend, and then you pay for the mint, which is really very gas effective. It's cost effective. Right now with the gas fees where it's at, the Gwei where it's at, you're probably looking at spending $2, maybe $3 worth of Gwei to mint these tokens. So very cheap. So now you got your Pulsar, and as far as you're concerned, you're done. You've got your Pulsar. You got what you wanted, and you can do whatever you want with it. But on the back end, that just starts kicking up the gears, right? That just gets things moving along. So the first thing that happens is when you mint that, the Ethereum that you paid goes into the Pulsar protocol smart contract, right? That nobody can extract, and your Titan X goes in there as well. However, when you bring in your Titan X during this process, it takes 50% of your Titan X that you're bringing in, and it burns it. Well, to be exact, now that we adjusted a little bit, it's 42%. So 42% is burnt out of existence, and we also credit you for the burn, and that credit is credited via the Titan X interface. So now the Titan X smart contract knows that when you minted Pulsar, you also burnt 42% of your Titan X. And if you go back and, if you're not familiar with the white paper with Titan X, you can go back and look. What that does for you is that adds up. It's like a credit, so that if you want to go create miners down the road, you get a bonus amount of Titan X at the end of your miners based on how much you burnt. Right?
So you didn't keep that? You gave that back to the users?
Absolutely, 100% of that.
Right on.
So the user gets 100% of the credit for burning that Titan X that they sent into the protocol. So that's awesome. And then, okay, wait, what about the other 8%? So the other 8%, you'll see down here towards the bottom there is 8% is sent to the 8% of what would have been burnt, right? This is just a math thing. So 4, 8, right? So 8% of what would have been burnt is being sent to the Dragon X vault. So I was in contact with Eric from Dragon X, and his only suggestion was that we update your front end. So it's just like this low level call we got to do in the contract so that they know that we deposited it, and their front end will respond to it. So we're pinging them. We're depositing into their vault for them. We're not asking for anything from them. We're doing this is just a tip of the hat. Like, you built on Titan X first. You did a great job. We love your token. There's a lot of us who did quite well in Dragon X and are still doing quite well in Dragon X, right? So it's a tip of the hat, man. We want to win together. So we threw 8% into there, and then the other 8%, my dude from Helios, man. That guy, he's been around for all the gift projects and the perma gift projects. He was the first one in the rooms asking me the real hard questions and such. So love that dude. Talked to him today a little bit. So we're throwing 8% to his smart contract on Helios, which is going to be used within their ecosystem. So So badass, right? So if you take the total amount of Titan X that was going to be burned, 84% of it actually gets burned. And then 8% goes to Dragon X and the other 8% goes to Helios. All right, we're done there. So what about the other 50% of the Titan X? Well, the other 50% also sits in the smart contract. So that's sitting in the smart contract of Pulsar. All right, cool. What else happens? Well, the amount of Pulsar that the user minted, a duplicate amount of that Pulsar is also minted and also sits in that smart contract right alongside that Titan X. And then there is a publicly callable function on our smart contract. Anybody here can call it from Etherscan. It's called distribute. And there's also another one called the bridge to PulseChain. This is actually the more relevant one. So anybody can call this, and if this is payable and it asks you to put a number in there, you just put in 0. It's irrelevant to the story of this, but you don't have to pay any fee with this. You just pay the gas. What that does is that sends that Titan X and that Pulsar to the PulseChain OmniBridge interface on the back end. So it initiates the bridging process. So again, anybody can call this. Nobody's in charge of this. This is all decentralized, and it's automated once you run the transaction. So that starts the bridging process to go to PulseChain. So that, as we know, bridging a PulseChain takes 20 minutes to an hour, depending on the traffic. That cost is a little bit more expensive. Okay, so when you go to run this transaction on Etherscan, or it will be on our front end here shortly, or in the new future, that it costs anywhere from like $10 to $30, even more if Ethereum gas fees are higher. So it's the same as if your experience of bridging to PulseChain, right? It's not cheap to initiate that. So anyways, after, let's say, an hour goes by, you could go to PulseChain and go ahead and click in our PulsarPathway smart contract, right? You see that here. And within that contract, you're already going to notice, you can pull it up right now. You're already going to notice a couple of things. So the Titan X and the Pulsar that got bridged is accumulating in this smart contract. Again, nobody owns it. You can't withdraw these funds. It just accumulates. And then there's one more function that can be called on the PulsarPathway contract, which is deposit PulseX liquidity. And what that does is it takes as much as it can, right? Because ratios change, but it takes as much as is sitting in that smart contract, and it deposits into the PulseX V2 liquidity pool of Titan X and Pulsar. And this can only be built up, and then it issues those LP tokens right back to that same smart contract where it can never be withdrawn. It just sits in that smart contract forever. All right. So that's our debt on the PulseChain side. Was that clear? Is there any questions so far?
Crystal.
Mm-hmm.
Crystal clear.
Okay. So then let's go back up over to here. Ethereum. Where'd the ETH go? Where'd the ETH go? All right. So the Ethereum, so the other function I told you about, the distribute function, that also sits within the Pulsar smart contract. So you can also run this from the Etherscan. This is very cheap. It's like $1, $2, $3, depending on gas fees. And what this does is it distributes the ETH, and it distributes the Titan X rebate. So this would be interesting. I'm not sure exactly how often this is used, but there's another feature in Titan X that when you burn Titan X, you get what's called a rebate. So what that means is whatever you burn, the Titan X smart contract will mint brand new Titan X, 8% of what you burn, and give it to the burner. What we're doing with that is we're sending that to our buy and burn. So that accumulates in the Pulsar smart contract as people mint, because when they mint, they're burning Titan X, right? Mm-hmm. So that rebate comes through and it gives it to the Pulsar contract. When you hit distribute, it will distribute all the ETH that's currently in the contract from the protocol fee along with the Titan X, and it sends it to the buy and burn. When it gets to the buy and burn, then that's what allows the Ethereum to be used to buy Pulsar and burn it, and all the accumulated Titan X, it will also buy Pulsar with the Titan X and burn it. And if anybody sends any Pulsar to that buy and burn address, it'll automatically burn that too. I don't know why that's important, but the smart contract checks for any Pulsar in there, and it'll just burn it if it finds any.
Nice. But it burns it for a reason. That's good. It doesn't just go into some abyss, you know? It actually, when somebody screws up, there's some functionality to it.
or a backdoor wallet. So essentially, it's a nice little flywheel. Nice little perpetual motion that's being created.
Yes.
Yes.
And what we're really creating here is the infrastructure. This is like what we needed. We needed this solid, well thought out, gear-like system to then build upon, right? So this is basically how it's going to look. But there's a lot of like nifty stuff. Like if you go and you end up minting some Pulsar, I encourage you to go look at that transaction and see what's happening. And then if you run the distribute function, go look at that transaction and see what's happening. It's all really cool.
It's easy to follow along. Like everything's properly tagged. All the addresses are tagged. So you're not like getting super deep into dev speak at all. It's pretty clear and easy to see, but there's a lot going on. It's impressive, actually.
Very.
Yeah, congratulations. In real time, I'm sitting here thinking about, that the Ethereum that's sitting there with, Titan X and that ability to buy and burn. And then I'm also thinking about whether it happens or not, Sack Daddy and that Ethereum. This protocol is going to be a huge spark plug for PulseChain. I mean, you guys are creating a pillar, and there's so many pillars being built within the PulseChain ecosystem, but this is going to be something that really ignites. You got these power, like I said, these two boom towns creating, but you have that buy and burn happening on Titan X. You have Ethereum price going up. Sack Daddy, who knows, may or may not do what he does. The point being is, it's exciting stuff. It's going to be good for all ships in the bay for what you guys are doing. You know what I mean?
Oh, should probably talk arbitrage.
Yeah, there you go.
Kind of forgot about that too. Should probably talk about that.
Arbitrage. Yeah, arbitrage is pretty cool, man. We've had a lot of fun with arbitrage in the GIF ecosystem over the last, 8 months or so. So the way Pulsar currently stands is there is a ceiling to it, right? A ceiling, and it's a ratio. It's not a dollar value. This could go as high as you want in dollar terms, but there is a ratio that controls it, and that's Titan X. If at any time I can mint Pulsar in real time, so this isn't like mining, right? Like, so a lot of things in the Titan X ecosystem is all about mining, which means it's basically what we're doing, but there's a delayed release. It's the same thing. So with some added mechanics to it, of course. I'm not trying to dumb it down. But the point is that if you're able to receive the tokens immediately, then that means that if what you put in is less value than what you get out, then that difference you can immediately profit on. That's called the arbitrage, right? So currently speaking, if you mint Pulsar and the value that you got out is more than the value you put in, right? Like I said, that's where the arbitrage happens. So the ceiling price is 8-1. And the reason it's 8-1 is because you can mint 1 Pulsar per 4 Titan X. Okay, so that sounds like 4-1. Well, hold on. The protocol fee is the equal value of that 4-1. So now we're at 8-1, right? So the 8-1. So if you ever look at the Pulsar price chart, the best price chart to really look at is the Titan X versus Pulsar price chart, which, by the way, we are purely tied in LP to Titan X. So 100% of our pool is with Titan X. So essentially, you look at that, you change the price chart to price in Titan X, and you'll see right now we're at like 7 Titan X per Pulsar. So that's underneath the ceiling. So there's no opportunity for arbitrage at this exact moment. But what we've always seen that happens is there's mechanisms that could increase the buying pressure of Pulsar. One is the most obvious, is people are like, oh, I want a piece of that, so I'm going to buy some. I'm going to buy some, put it in my portfolio. That's part of my portfolio now, right? The other part is, we got the buy and burn. And it's not just our protocol, but as things get built on Pulsar or other communities or other builders build on Pulsar, then that's going to add more buying pressure. So you might be running into a scenario where it's a non-human, player that is buying up the price of Pulsar and pushing it above the ceiling price, which allows anybody who is either fast enough or has written a bot to do it that can immediately profit from the difference. But here's the thing. Every time they profit from it, what are you doing? You're burning Titan X, you're minting Pulsar, you're adding ETH to the buy and burn, and you're bridging value to PulseChain. You're doing a whole lot of Flywheel stuff every time there's a little bit of arbitrage happening. Why Helios? Okay, yeah. Graphics. What up, dude? Oh, we got a stream soon. Would you let them know why Helios was chosen?
Yeah,
Helios was chosen. Okay, so first off, I reached out to a lot of the builders, a lot of the fellow builders in the Titan X ecosystem when I realized that we should probably be sending some of this Titan X over. You know what? I think it was Eric's idea. You know what? I blame it on Eric. Yeah, I think it was Eric's idea.
Yeah, Eric.
That. He's like, it'd be better if we put some of this Titan X into the vault as opposed to burning it. And I'm like, you know what? I think we could do both. Let's burn some. That's great for the user. That's great for Titan X being deflationary. But let's also let's take a piece off, right? And help out the other community members. So at that point in time, now given that was a little bit ago, I reached out to all the founders that I knew, and the only two who could actually utilize the Titan X was Helios and Dragon X. The other guys, I won't name them all, but they said our protocol just doesn't work like that. Like, there's nowhere for you to send the Titan X, right? There's no decentralized smart contract where you can send it. Now, keep in mind, this was at that point in time. We're not talking about today. So that was the reason. Hopefully that answers your question. Graphics. I reached out to everybody, and I did not try to leave anybody out. But at that point in time, there was two.
Yeah, and I think Graphics showed up for the kind of like a replay gang there, so you kind of missed that first introductory of what you were saying, a little bit about the reasoning why. So good stuff, powerful stuff. Very cool. Yeah, and I understand Kool-Aid's out in my neck of the woods doing a little retreat. He told me he's up in Oregon, so good on him. Obviously, he'll return and get back in the trenches with you guys and start kicking some butt and taking names. So that's exciting.
Heck yeah, he keeps me juiced, that's for sure. He's always calling, texting,
at 3 in the morning.
What are we doing next? Wants to bounce ideas off of me, and vice versa. So yeah, he's fantastic to have on the team. We'll be excited to have him back. Yeah,
it's always good to get a 3 a.m. phone call from him where you're kind of like, oh, who's this? What the heck's going on? And he's just like, hey, I got this idea. And you're like, oh, jeez, buddy, what's up?
Never. Are we talking about the same Kool-Aid?
Yeah, I know.
We're talking about the same guy.
Yeah, but don't try and get a hold of him anywhere from 10 to about 4.
Yes, true.
Now about 8 to 4, he's gone.
Yeah.
All right.
So with that said, I mean, how do you feel like this is going to be dynamic for, I want to hear it from you. How do you feel like, because just in real time, like I said, like I can get the sense this is going to be huge for PulseChain, but aside from Pulsar, how do you feel this is going to like impact PulseChain?
Oh man, that's a really good question. It's very hard to like pinpoint, and like I think in generalities, right? So it's like I think that if we bring some of the ETH guys over to PulseChain who normally would never look at PulseChain, right? And from my personal experience working with some devs that are some hardcore Ethereum developers that have been around for a long time. These are the guys that I got to learn from. A few of them had heard of PulseChain. They're like, oh yeah, that's the Richard Hart project, right? And I was like, yeah, but they had never really looked at it, right? They heard of it. And I got these guys looking at it. Not only I got them looking at it, I got them looking at my code. A lot of the code that existed on PulseChain, right? So it's like, every new eyeball is important for PulseChain, especially the developers. Like you can never have enough developers on your chain. It's when developers stop building that a chain slowly, dissipates, right? So
Right.
you got to have the building happening. You got to have the ecosystem thriving in that way. And if you're building, then you bring in the users. And if you got a user who's on Ethereum, is super pro Titan and loves the whole ecosystem, they're going to venture over to PulseChain eventually because Pulsar exists. So that's great for PulseChain, I think. And then what's great for them is they're going to realize, oh, I've always only been on Ethereum. I've never been on another chain. Oh, this is another EVM, right? Okay, this is solid state fork. Okay, easy. All right, my MetaMask already works. It's just one little switch here. Like, oh, this is great. And there's a decentralized bridge that we can use that exists on, on the, what is it? IPFS, right? Intergalactic file system. Interplanetary file systems.
Yeah.
Right.
Planetary. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, all right, this is cool stuff. Now all of a sudden, you're getting more interest. And I just think that's all good. And I think Titan users, when the gas fees are really pumping hard on Ethereum, and Ethereum's done some good things in terms of lowering the gas fees, but nothing can protect you from a bull market. Like, we've seen some crazy activity on PulseChain in the past where the gas fees were high. Like, you remember how high it used to be compared to these days? So, like, it gives people an outlet. It's like, oh, I'm just trying to bring in, $50, $100. I'm just going to buy Titan on PulseChain. It's good for everybody. That's good for everybody there, right? So it whenever you're opening up options for users, I think you're only dealing with a win-win scenario.
Are there other things, not to take away the shine from Pulsar, are there other bridge type opportunities you're thinking about linking to PulseChain from Ethereum that are something in the future? I mean, I don't need details, but maybe some teasers of some type of protocols that open up the, I guess, pathways for people to find PulseChain a little bit more with ease, I guess, if you will.
Well,
yeah.
The interesting part is we kind of opened up a can of worms with what we did.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
So it's like, okay, so wait, if you can bridge in liquidity, and you can automate it, and you can do it decentralized, you can do it without, any ability for that economic value to come back, and you're doing it over EVM, then, what's stopping you from doing it with a layer 2, like Faith? Like, or anything else? BNB will work. Like, you can do it with BNB. If you've got a bridge, we can do it. Right. And I've been eyeballing Rust for a minute. That's just like a new coding language that all the devs are really hot on right now. So I've been eyeballing that for a minute, and I just haven't had any time to really deep dive that, but that's essentially what we'd be working with. So we could do it with other blockchains. We are opening up a can of worms with this. And I've had devs reach out to me, and they're like, how exactly are you doing this? Like, how are you interfacing? Like, what's the technicalities of this? Like, can you show me? And I'll tell them, like, just wait till we launch. It's all in the code. Like, we'll launch. All the cookies are right there. Nothing's hidden. You can raid the cookie jar all you want once we're live. And so yeah, I mean, I think it's exciting. I mean, you can see it on my face. I'm super excited. Obviously I've been working on this a long time, but this is some innovative stuff. I feel like it's pretty innovative, and I think we got some cool tokenomics, and this has just been designed to build on. Like, this is literally just the beginning.
Very nice. Very nice. Well, congrats again, Gif. And I'm hoping that this once again proves that PulseChain has a use case, and we're building things on it, and that the community itself is doing the things that nobody else has seen or done before. And, PulseChain's making it possible. And, I think that's what Richard wanted. I think that's what everybody who builds on it was, trying to accomplish, was making things better around here, and using his protocol to make DeFi function better. And it looks like you're starting to put the pieces together and make it happen. And kind of what I like about one of the concepts that you guys were talking about all the time was no leaky boats. You were always patching up the holes, and that's the thing is that all these protocols that are being built. Yeah, there's some great ideas and great concepts, but even the good ones that you saw coming in, and you were kind of modeling Pulsar on all the things that you were seeing. You were like, nope, this needs to be fixed. This needs to be fixed. That needs to be patched up. That's, not helping the protocol. That hurts down the road here. And you started, patching up all the holes, and you took your time. And it wasn't about, the time wasn't about just putting out the product. The people out here aren't seeing what was really going on in the background. And in the background, it was, one challenge after another, one leak after another being fixed. And it wasn't just, coding is hard and we had one idea and it was going to be this. It morphed along the way, and things got fixed, and things got discovered, uncovered, discarded, or fixed, or leaks patched up. And that's why it took so long, because you wanted it to come out right. You wanted to make sure that all these things that weren't foreseen, that you ran into along the way, you didn't pass anything up and say, fuck it, we'll fix it down the road, or fuck it, I'm not going to worry about that. It was, you guys even got down to where, like, there were people that were messing around with the code, and there was stuff in there that didn't hurt anything, didn't bother anything, but didn't need to be there. And it's like, no, let's clean all that stuff out. Like, I don't care if it does anything or doesn't do anything or makes no harm. I want it clean. I want other devs to look at it and go, this is clean code. This is code that was done right. And, that's a testament to who you are and what the team has done. And, because here's the thing, you're going to get all these people, of course, I'm going to get the shit for it. Oh, RG is talking about another coin instead of Hex, and I tell everybody, everything to me is suspect. All of these things are just people working and people trying to make things happen. And I'm going to tell you guys right now, most of the things that have been built on PulseChain that have had problems, have failed, have stumbled, were just because of missteps or things that were unforeseen or laziness. But there hasn't been a whole lot of nefarious bullshit. The nefarious bullshit was like way out in our face, like Pulse Latina and all that other bullshit that happened. Like, you should have saw that stuff coming 100 miles away. But right now, if you're investing or looking at investing in people that are building on PulseChain, you're getting in front of the wild, 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 wild west and getting involved in things that are just starting to be invented, that are just starting to be discovered, that are just made possible now because PulseChain's here. So buyer beware. You got to realize that, yes, you're getting in before the .com boom hits, but you're getting in before the .com boom hits. And a lot of those things failed. A lot of those things had a hard time. A lot of those things never came to fruition, but a lot of things made a lot of people very, very wealthy. And a lot of things made the internet a lot better. And I think that that's what, GIF's doing. And I've had the opportunity to get involved with a lot of different projects. And I turned all of them down. This was the only team that I wanted to be part of because of their ethics, because of their pillars, because of who they all are, what they all did, and how they operated and functioned all along the way. No matter what, there wasn't anything that this team did that was below board, that was not considered upright and thinking about the community, thinking about the future, thinking about the investor. Always. GIF had very many heated concerns about those things. Like, hey, this is what's going to happen. And in fact, he wouldn't even let any of us really know when he was launching it. Like, he did it and launched it stealth, even so the team wouldn't know, so that we couldn't front run anything or do things like that. So just the integrity, what he's done and how he's done it. I can't say enough good about it, because that's what we were supposed to be doing, is doing things that in this community that were to better the community, better crypto. And now we have a better narrative to go out there and fight the powers that be as to why DeFi is necessary, why DeFi is needed. This is just another story that we get to go out there and tell, because that's what's going to have to happen, guys. I'm sitting in front of politicians right now, talking to them about what the regulatory framework is going to start looking like, who the players in it are going to be, and they're starting to line up. They're starting to get in position. They're starting to get in front of the committees. The committees are starting to be built. The people that are going to be in those committees are starting to be built. So guess what? Next year, 2025, you're going to see crypto regulation coming. You're going to see either a task force be built, think tanks be built. SEC is going to be remodeled to handle it. And if we don't have our stories and our acts straight and our things that we need to go out there and defend DeFi with, we're going to be in trouble. So we need things like this that are valuable, that have been built, that are helping the ecosystem be better. And it's not, the typical drug deal, the money laundering, the terrorist support. As long as we can show that there's other narratives than what they're going to try and shove down the general public's throat about DeFi, we've got to have these stories and they got to be told well.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. And, there's going to be, they've been calling this multi-chain kind of universe for a long time now, right? Like, It's been a minute. And
it's going to be chain wars.
all we've had so far is, people, essentially bridging their own tokens from one chain to the other, right? That's all we've had. We haven't had this automated system. It's kind of like, people are driving between PulseChain and Ethereum, but like, where's the automated Tesla truck that's just delivering one direction, right? Over and over and over and over again. Like, this is kind of that first kind of evolution of this. And I know that, using there's some really geeky new tech coming out, like the zero chains, and basically essentially they act like it's bypassing all these bridges, but it's absolutely utilizing all these bridges to do omni-chain sort of transactions. But that's okay. I'm not going to get any arguments with any devs about exactly how all that stuff works, because I'm still a junior, as we've said. So, but it's going to be interesting how this evolves in this bull cycle. Like, I mean, come on, this is October leading into 2025. Like, where else would you rather be right now?
Nowhere. But I want to get into something real quick that we could talk about. There's 80 oh gosh, what is that? WLO 80 Wolf? Oh, whatever. Said, why do I need a bank account when I have DeFi? So I want to explain.
Good. I feel so sketched out by bank accounts now. Like, I don't know if it's like getting older or what it is, but I'm like, okay, I can't have that much in there. I got to move it over to here. But dude, in my crypto assets, like I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't feel as comfortable as I do, but I do, man. I understand how all this stuff works. I understand how encryption works. I understand how it spits out hashes and the things that I'm discovering on how even addresses are formed with the nonce and the private key combined. And it's fascinating. And it's like, I cannot believe that crypto is running at such a high level versus the Wells Fargos and the Chases and these guys are not using very good technology versus crypto. Like, it's not just banking the unbanked. Like, we are the standard of the new bank. Like, we're setting the standard. And it gets me pumped. It definitely gets the nerded side of me pumped some more, because as our RG knows, like, I sit around smelling my own farts all day long, and I start to think that I got it all figured out, you know what I'm saying? But I get jazzed up, and I'm just passionate about this crypto thing. And I think we're in the right ecosystem at the right time. So that's where the passion comes from.
Well, I like what you're saying, and but I hear who needs a banking. Let's face the facts right now, and until we get better and better and better, until we get more and more simplified. I mean, these things that we're building now, like you can't even explain to cutting edge people in the DeFi space really what Pulsar is doing right now in like 5 minutes. Like, it's so much going on. There's so much complexity involved here. There's so much new stuff that people need to discover and understand themselves before they can even kind of wrap their head around it, about the bridging and what's going on and how all the liquidity is being set up and whatnot. So there's all of these things that people are going to need to learn. But when it comes down to it, until we simplify, we are going to need banks. We're going to need fiat. And I don't think that fiat is going to go away anytime soon. Not even when all of you guys become, millionaires, multimillionaires in the next couple of cycles. You're going to need to spend your money. And we still have to lean into the banks. The banks are still here for us. And until people start taking crypto for real, which they don't, it just doesn't really exist. If you want to go use one of those cards, people are like, oh, but I pay my bills on these cards and things. No, you're putting your crypto into an exchange, and that exchange is paying your bills for you through crypto. So guess what? You've just added a middleman so that you can go and pay your bills. So what middleman do you want? Do you trust running your money through, say, a Coinbase or a Gemini and run it into your bank account, one transaction, boom, boom? Or do you want to sit your money in some exchange that could go down or could get regulated out of business? Or like I suffered when I had a lot of money get stuck in the bridge because TrueUSD lost one of their funders. So I mean, there's all kinds of stuff like that we have to be aware of, and that some of you people are going to be millionaires, multimillionaires within the next cycle or two. And you're going to want to spend that value. You're not going to buy $1 million house or $500,000 house with crypto. It's not going to happen. You're going to have to start figuring out how you're going to help the space spend its money, spend its crypto. You're going to have to figure that out. You're going to have to figure out how to get regulators to allow it to happen. Mm-hmm. And that's the real issue here. These things are great. The stuff that we're building is great. We're so far ahead of the curve that we're not speaking to the general public and to the people that we need to be speaking to. Because if we're going to get adoption, if we're going to survive, we've got to simplify things. Now, I'm not saying that anybody needs to stop doing what they're doing. No, plug your ears and keep going, bro. You need to keep doing what you're doing.
I can explain in under 5 minutes how to use our DApp.
There you go.
5 minutes to go from one asset to our asset, less than 5 minutes. You really don't need to know about all the other stuff.
No,
but
it's just like a race car. You don't even know how to set the timing on it. No.
Yeah, I think it's fascinating. I think people should know. And especially the ramifications for what's going on. But if somebody just wants some Pulsar, they don't care about all that stuff. They're like, hey, I like the name Pulsar. This gift guy, he looks like a real nerd in his basement somewhere. There's probably something good coming from that. I'm gonna mint a little bit, dude. Less than 5 minutes, bro. Mint a little bit. No big deal. You ain't gotta jump through any hoops. There ain't no LPs, no swapping out, and none of this other stuff.
The same thing went for your Hex and T-shirts and trying to explain that to people, right?
Yes.
And so that these systems are, sometimes, but once it clicks, you go, aha, there it is. And the same will go for explaining Pulsar to people. And then it goes deeper. People that understand T-shirts, it goes deeper and they get turbo dorked into it, and they go, look at Crispy Man and what he does and everything, you know what I mean? Just jumps into the deep section with it and gets real deep into it. And so, yeah, good stuff.
Crispy Man, what a good dude. Him and I used to talk a lot when I was in my early days of just building, stat sites and stuff. Really like everything he's been doing. He's a good dude.
He's a great dude.
Guys, I got to dip out. I got to go pick up the wife.
All right. Give us some wise words then. Come on. Give us something good to
I can't, because that'd be financial advice. But very excited about essentially what we've launched. And I think that if you're interested by what's pulling you in on the surface and you're like, wow, there's just like all these things that are going to lead to hopefully price go up, then start there. And, just like anything else, it's a slippery slope. And I think before you know it, you're going to be nerding out the contract addresses, even though you're swearing right now, you're not. And you're going to really fall in love with, the tech, which is actually the marvel in all of this. The pretty front end and what's created off of the tech in the back end is again, really the marvel. And we're just at the beginning of what we're creating, and binded with everything on these essentially two powerhouse structures and communities. There's a lot of great things that I think are going to come out of this. So that's all I got.
Appreciate that, Jay.
Thanks,
All right, see you guys.
See you, bud. Nice. All right. So how's everything going so far? Everything's working. Everything's running. You're pleased? Let me see here.
Yeah.
Got the website.
A little bit too pleased. No, everything's looking good. There's some minor things I need to tweak up. I'll get tweaked up tomorrow after I get some rest. with the front end and rounding numbers and bringing in price feeds. Very simple stuff. Doesn't have anything to do with contracts or anything. But I just want to make the experience as smooth as possible. And some people are fortunate because they get, front end devs who've been at this for, 2 decades or something like that. And so they can do this stuff in their sleep. Takes me a minute and, to get things put together. But yeah, it's looking good, man. It's looking real good. I like it. And it's quiet. I like quiet. I was just saying, some devs or some founders like to come in with a wrecking ball, right? And like just blasting it everywhere and getting the chats going, and maybe you poke a bear here and there. Dude, I like the quiet ones, man. Let's just be quiet. Let's launch. Let's get everything smooth. The people who've been around, been watching, give them time to make their moves, and then we'll just we'll let it transpire more organically.
Yeah, that's how I like it that way too. It gives it a more stable launch. It gives it a more solid. When you see these crypto launches and they just go parabolic, like we saw with some of the tokens that we've launched already. It just makes for what's going to happen. It's like what's going to happen. It's the inevitable has happened. That much momentum swinging one way is going to eventually swing the other way, and a lot of times that hurts the project more than helps it. And we saw it with Hex when Hex launched. I mean, everything's done that. There hasn't been anything that hasn't done that. So again, fair warning to everybody out there. All of these things are suspect. All of these things are new. This is all cutting edge, Wild West stuff. But some of you are here for that, and if you are, just understand that that's the game. People FOMO into these things, run the prices up, and then a lot of them get cold feet or jump out just because they're making money off of folks. So if you're in for the long term, DCA yourself in. You got time. You're going to see price swings. Don't throw your whole load in there at one time, all that good stuff. Just, be smart about it. Be wise about it. Take your time. Watch it. Watch the price action. Watch what things do. And these technologies are going to be around. The code is launched. It's there. It's going to be there. It ain't going nowhere. And you get to watch what it does and how it functions, how it creates a better atmosphere for the ecosystem, and then decide whether or not you want to get involved. So it always works out better that way, in my opinion. So buyer beware. But it's cool stuff.
So cool. So cool.
Yeah.
Try to trace that, trace the automated bridging of Pulsar in Titan X over to PulseChain. If anybody thinks they're really good at tracking things on chain, go do that.
There you go.
That's some fun stuff. That's some interesting code right there. And
There you go.
there's I don't know if you guys have heard of Tenderly yet, but that is like a dev's dream for debugging and smart contracts and watching transactions happen and that sort of thing. You can see it line by line, and it verifies contracts from Etherscan and such, and really cool stuff. So if you're really nerding out, go follow that. Go follow that string right there. Let me know in a couple days when you get out of it. Fun stuff.
Right on. Cool beans, man. Well, what are you going to do now for the next week? Now that you finally, I mean, the life of a dev is, your life has been like locked away in your room, sniffing your own farts, like you said, and just trying to get shit done. And especially when you're under the gun, like you were there just the last few days. But what's your plans now? You going to take off and go get some relaxation, or what you going to do?
Oh, no. We've got to get, so there's 2 tabs on our minting page that are currently disabled.
Okay.
The next tab that's going to get unlocked will be the Pathway tab. So the Pathway tab will allow people a little bit easier, so you don't have to go to Etherscan. You could just run the distribute ETH button, right, which is the distribute function that I talked about earlier.
Uh-huh.
The bridge to PulseChain function I talked about earlier. And the super cool one, the add PulseX liquidity.
Oh, nice.
Which actually moves the tokens from the Pulsar Pathway contract address on PulseChain into the liquidity pools, right? That one's a really cool one too. You got to follow that transaction. So I got to get that unlocked. There's just a couple, listen, I'm wrapping everything in like 3 layers of security. So like you got, I've got a few other things I want to add to it, and then we're gonna get that live. Hopefully, a matter of a few days.
Right on.
That'll go live, and then after that will come the buy and burn, and the buy and burn is gonna be sweet too. So, yeah, we got to make sure we get those rolled out, and then we're probably gonna be looking at expanding with some stats. But then we got to get started on the next thing, man. I mean, like we said, it's October. It's October 2024. We got to keep building, man. We got things to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But the cool part is that was the hardest thing. What we just went through was the hardest thing out of anything that we could possibly want to build. It
was your infrastructure layer, and you laid that down. You laid it down solid. That's a foundation, and now you can build on top of that. I mean, that's where it's going to get real interesting, cool. And now that you've laid the foundation that you want for the tokens and the projects that you're going to bring to market after this. So that's cool, man. That is cool.
Nailed it. All right. Well, I better jump off here. I don't know how much longer you guys are going to stream, but I got to jump off and start answering some questions and such.
All right, bro.
Yeah.
Get back to work.
All right. Take care, guys. Thanks for jumping on. Thanks for letting me jump on. Sorry.
No problem, man. It's always here for everybody. See you, bud. Cool. Ladies and gentlemen, Gift from Gift Tech. What a great guy. What a great guy. He's like I said, he's a 1 in a million dev. And his mentors. Mm-hmm. Solid PulseChain devs, solid, and they've been mentoring him right. That's for sure. So good job, man. I'm glad he's feeling good today. There's some other projects too, and I can't talk about this other project that came out, but I'll tell you what, there's some really cool stuff being built. I'm in a special group that's evaluating and monitoring a system that's, I don't even know if I can say this, but anyway, it's definitely related to PulseChain, and it's actually monitoring part of the PulseChain. So
you mean the cabal?
What?
Oh, shh.
I was asked to look at a project that's being built. That's all, and it's really cool. I'm actually watching it run right now. It's extremely cool. Definitely needed, something that was needed within the system. So anyway, hey, did anybody get a chance to see the Bitcoin what do you call it? The damn movie that came out. Hey, we got our buddy Simon. What's happening? How you doing?
Oh, hey, Captain. That was a speedy entrance there.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw you jump in. We were right before we got.
It's a good job putting my underwear on.
Yeah, good thing. Yeah, we've had that a few times. People didn't have it. But anyway, I was just asking, did anybody see the Bitcoin movie that was on HBO that was going to reveal Satoshi? Yeah, I thought that was funny. What's the guy's name? He was one of the, I don't know. He was one of the cypherpunk interns, I guess, Peter Todd or something like that. I don't know. He was a wonder kid at the time when they were building Bitcoin. But anyway, he was their claim to Satoshi. They said he was Satoshi, but anyway, it was lackluster. It was lackluster.
Yeah, it didn't seem too accurate, did it?
No, it wasn't. And the whole time, Adam Back is sitting there just like, oh God, this is fucking stupid. You know, the whole time you could just see him going, yeah, He wasn't having any of it, to be honest, I think.
Yeah, I didn't actually watch it, but I saw the guy that they named and the commentary on it in the chats and whatnot. And yeah, I don't know why they chose this guy and tried to make out Satoshi. It's quite strange, actually.
Yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of little conspiracies that you can run around. In my opinion, it probably was, a couple of them, not just one individual. Yep. It was probably, maybe Hal and Adam. I don't know, maybe the two of them, and one of them had half the keys, and the other had half the other keys, and they just, I guess, maybe died with Hal or something. I don't know. There's all kinds of ways you can look at it, but I guess it doesn't really matter.
It was a gift.
Richard Hart is Satoshi. We could just
Yeah.
meet. I mean, if they're allowed to say it's this guy, and
Let's-
that's quite unlikely.
Let's
just leave it Richard.
let's take it one more step and make it really really cringy, fucking cultish, and say, who the fuck cares about Satoshi? Richard built better crypto. Like, he's better than Satoshi, and he's around. He didn't bitch out and run away. You know, he faced everything, built a better infrastructure, built better tokens, and the proof is already out there. So Satoshi's a bitch as far as I'm concerned, and you know, Richard Hart is better than Satoshi. I guess that's the next one. Instead of Bitcoin or Hex is better than Bitcoin, we'll say Richard's better than Satoshi.
I just need those Bitcoin gains now. I just need my 800 million X or whatever it is. And then,
yeah, let's get a 6 million X on it, right?
yeah,
6 million X. That would be
go
nice.
on, Richard. We're not asking for much.
Yeah.
Wait, what? So what did somebody said something about? We got to get everybody to go vote on Ivan on Tech's poll. We are losing to
Yep.
Titan X to get more.
Oh, yeah,
exposure.
they're using bots. Like, I think
Oh,
Jake the Snake got the bots out, right? Because I think it was one of the guys said he saw the votes jump like 4% in 10 seconds. So, yeah.
yep.
Yep.
Guess that's how this crypto game works, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it happens. But it is a good thing to be on the radar with Ivan and what he does. He's definitely done some great things for the space. So
Yeah, of all the major influencers, he's probably the least scummy, right? So it's cool.
yeah, good dude. Yeah. Captain, I
Yep.
appreciate it. I'm gonna hop off. SJ, I'll see you on Tuesday on stream with us. I appreciate it. I've been streaming. Just let you know, Captain. Me and Bet's been streaming every day, Monday through Thursday, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, shooting the shit. So we got some good gals coming on the show. We got SJ, Whitney Magic, and I think Crypto Stylist is going to hop on with us.
Oh, nice.
We're really wanting to get the opportunity for the savage women of crypto in general, but Hexico, because they are, excuse my language, they're badass bitches, you know. I mean, especially if you've endured a bear market like we have, and you've been building DeFi the way it needs to be built. They have a voice that needs to be spoken to the broader.
And the three women that you have on, I mean, I know them all, and
Yep.
Crypto Stylist is, if not one of the most connected and one of the smartest females in the Hexican crypto space. I mean, boom. SJ,
Boom.
Nobody works harder. Nobody digs more into what's going on around here or has access to the people and things that she has access to than her. And Whitney, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant when it comes to the world of finance and crypto and integrating them with women in crypto. Brilliant. I mean, they have to be exposed and put out there and be the mouthpiece versus some of these, you know, maxi chicks that are out there. Sorry for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
But they just, you know, I mean,
yeah.
The shill, the freaking shill, man. The shame in the shill. I don't understand. Just like when I was watching that movie, you can just see how weak. Oh, what the hell's his name? Mr. Maxi Advocate out there. Doggone it. What is his name? Asian gentleman.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
He was in the movie. Anyway, his name will hit me in a minute. Anyway, you could just see he just lacks confidence. And they got him running around talking to freaking diplomats and leaders of other countries to try and bring Bitcoin to their finances. Yeah. It's just like the tech alone should the fact that any country would step into this without understanding the tech and what's going on behind Bitcoin. I shudder to think that these people are actually dumb enough to get involved like that. I mean, it's one thing, number go up, but a whole country FOMOing their financial system into something that they don't understand, a technology that has flaws. That I don't understand. I don't get it. It blows my mind that a country would even consider putting their people and themselves at risk for technology that they don't understand, that they don't get, that's had 3 freaking bugs, that's had inflation bugs, that could have minted as many, could have destroyed that whole ecosystem. The whole crypto could be dead and gone. Could it, if the Bitcoin Cash hack wouldn't have been found and put out the way it was, that could have been the end of crypto for good right there. If that one thing happened, that's how delicate this whole thing is. You know, I keep telling people, don't think so highly of your crypto thing. It could go away in a second like that, you know? So.
But to that point, to put all the entire social, public's, you know, financial system into Bitcoin, that's a lot. That's a lot of trust in something that, you know, I mean, come on. I mean, I know you remember the days back in 2007, 2005 to 2008. I was doing subprime loans, account executive. And I remember looking at the Ireland school teachers, like retirement system, thinking, oh my gosh, they're investing in our subprime. And I wasn't very confident necessarily in what I was selling, in the sense that, like, I didn't think it was necessarily a scam, but I think anyone for the 620 credit score should get 100% financing.
You knew it, man. You knew it.
Yeah,
it was 120% financing.
Yeah, I know, especially down there in California.
Yeah, and we had people. Now it's not unheard of today, but in 2006 and 7, people were buying condos at 100% financing at $550,000 for a condo in 2007 and 2008, right before the big crash. And they were just, and people were, and my whole neighborhood was, I live in a real yuppie neighborhood, right? And they were all using their houses as banks. They all had brand new motorcycles. They all had brand new trailers. They were all going on trips together. They had limos taking them to Vegas. They were all playing these games, and they used their houses as ATM machines. And, you know, they all, hey, are you coming out with us? Hey, did you get a new dirt bike? No, I'm still working, man. I was out there every day working and stayed away from that shit. I didn't refinance my house and do anything. And because my wife had taken up a little part-time deal at the time, and she was printing out loan docs while you guys were out there signing them. And she just did some notary work and stuff. And she was like, I'm going into these houses with these like 90-year-old people, and they're taking loans out on their homes for like insane amounts, insane. And they were adjustable loans. They were, what did they call those things? I mean,
you had like no income, no assets, you know,
and the interest rate was adjustable.
Oh yeah. Like 2 years afterwards, it was going to
it popped up. Yeah. And they said, well, it'll never go above 3 points above prime or whatever. And it's like, okay. And at the time, prime was like 3, 4, whatever it was. And it's like, but then prime went to 8, you know, and it was like, boom, boom, boom. You know, people are paying 10, 12% on 100%, 120% loans. And that's when everything went belly up.
Yep.
Belly up.
Belly up.
And the banks got bailed out, and none of the humans did. The banks, they all screwed everybody, put these liar loans out, called them grade A because they mixed the bad loans with the good loans. And when they did that and shuffled them up, it's like making coleslaw, and you have, you know, 4 big heads of great, beautiful cabbage, and you have 1 rotten cabbage. You throw all the coleslaw together. It's still rotten coleslaw, man. I mean, that's what they did. They made this mess out of things. And then, you know, it affected me, whether I was involved in it or not, getting a loan or did any of that stuff. It affected the economy. It affected the prices of our homes. Everybody was losing their jobs. It was just a mess. You know, everybody was hurting from it. And then these sons of bitches took trillions of dollars of our taxpayer money to bail them out. And we got stuck holding the bag for all that. And guess what? Not only did they get bailed out with the money, not only did they get to foreclose on all those homes, but they got to keep the fucking properties too.
Yep. And they got bonuses.
They got bonuses, kept the property, got bailed out by all the taxpayers, and everybody who lost their home was SOL. SOL, bad credit, lost their houses, nothing. You know, it was a mess, man. What a mess. And they're still, you know, doing it. There's still some real funky stuff going on out there.
You know, in many ways, that's kind of where Bitcoin got introduced. You know, Bitcoin was, exactly, you know, out of that. So, you know, we can be thankful for that. You know, I know in 2008, I was telling my dad, you know, RIP, you know, when Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan stopped showing up here in Portland, Oregon to buy $500 million worth of our loans to take back to Wall Street. And like you said, shuffle them in the deck with the A-paper loans. I was like, hey, something's coming. And it's going to be ugly. It's going to hit the world like we've never seen it before. And, you know, the rats were jumping off the ship, you know, and to that point, some of these things that you say, as far as nothing new under the sun, we saw it with FTX, all these other just, you know, these Perusa Ponzi type schemes, you know, that just repackage, you know, and people need to remember where they stand and where they're at and what RH is building, where we're at with Hex, where we're at with PulseChain, the decentralization that we have. Right time, right place, you guys. So, you know, it's
I agree. Stuff. I mean, I am 100% a DeFi crypto advocate. I think Hex is the foundation of that. Richard Hart's the godfather of it. I think that we really have true DeFi. Now we got to keep it. We got to keep it because I know it's there. Like I'm seeing the things that are being built. I saw what was built. I saw it work. Hex doesn't need any more validation as far as I'm concerned. It's made it almost 5 years now. 5 years, flawless operation, beats Bitcoin, hands down. So my guess is that PulseChain and PulseX, the other two projects that he made that are being, you know, scrutinized and looked at now as they're launching and moving. I think that everything that he's built is going to truly be DeFi's, you know, it's going to be Richard's swan song and DeFi's beginnings. And we've just got to make sure that we are prepared to fight the fight to keep it because it's coming, guys. I'm telling you right now, this fight is coming and you got to be prepared. You got to get on the right side of things. There are some good things that are showing up. Like we're starting to see politicians leaning into crypto like hard. We're starting to see Coinbase starting to step it up, starting to get more and more, gain more and more ground on regulatory, not backing down from them, not being regulated out of existence. That I think that they're doing a really good job at this point. Brian Armstrong's doing a really good job, in my opinion, of staying ahead of the game. And the fact that he's made a DeFi protocol, a DeFi chain, tells me that he's preparing for that also. So because Base is out there, that tells me that he has a vision for the future, and DeFi is part of it. So I think that keeping an eye on what's going on over there at Coinbase is going to be real important because I think that when it comes down to it, Brian Armstrong has his finger on the pulse of this thing and understands what's going on. So keep an eye on that and watch who he leans into as far as money goes. I think that I don't think that they donated to it, but I think he helped facilitate one of the protocols, and I think it is called, what's the name of it? Anyway, they help them to send campaign finance through crypto to the campaigns. Focus, I think. Anyway, but it was one of the not a lobby group, but a PAC. that they used the Coinbase protocol to pass money through. So I know in a lot of places this doesn't sit right with everybody, but it is the way of the future. It's going to be the way that we get adoption. It's one thing, for us to be nomads, but look, not everybody's a nomad. If we want adoption, we've got to bring families and people that have retirements and want to stay in their country of origin and all that kind of stuff. It's like, well, I'll just move out. It's okay for, some basement dweller to say, hey, I'm going to go nomad be a crypto nomad. But when somebody's raising a family, got 3 kids and a wife and, whatnot, or a single mom that's got 2 kids, it's not that easy to just pick up and go move to Malta or
Dubai. Yeah. Or Portugal. Yeah. Puerto Rico. It's
just not feasible. There's a lot of things involved, and even some of you guys who are nomadic, think about it. I've got a lot of buddies that are living in Puerto Rico right now that are homesick, that don't like spending 6 months over there. Some of them have even gotten out of the program that they originally got themselves into. So it's not just because your money is treated better somewhere else doesn't mean that it's just that easy for you to pick up and go do something like, say, a Randy Hilarski did. Randy was able to go out there and, and he nomads and he lives out there. That's his thing. But the average person, I don't think, wants that to be the case, to have to pick up stakes and move to another country. As far as I'm concerned, if it's necessary, I'll do what I have to do. But I'm hoping that we can stop that from happening because, look, America needs this. It needs to be on the right side of history on this thing. And so far it hasn't. And it can't stifle innovation. It needs to get ahead of the curve and get into it and be part of innovation. Rest of the world is starting to embrace it. The rest of the world, we're starting to see, other countries say, bring your crypto here. We're going to treat it well. We're going to treat your crypto and you well, and the U.S. has to understand that, hey, you're going to start losing lots of revenue. And I talked to one of the politicians that I talk to on a regular basis about this. And he said, really? That's interesting. I said, yeah, people are offshoring and taking up other programs and getting dual citizenship and all that, and they're going to be concerned about that. Why would you want all of your innovation and your value to leave your country and go elsewhere because it's not being treated right? So I think they're going to have to take a good look at it, but we've got to get loud about it. We've got to get in front of them and talk to them about it. So. Facts. When the cap speaks facts.
Yep.
You know what? I don't know if I'm speaking facts. I'm giving you guys my opinion on what I'm seeing and what I've been through in life. I've been around the block. I've seen up and downs in markets. I've lost jobs. I've lost businesses. I've come close to losing my home. I've been through it all, and a couple of times, and I've seen cycles come and go and come and go and come and go. And none of this stuff is any different. None of this stuff, it's all the same. And it's all about, if you want something like this to survive, I talked about Napster a few weeks ago. and when Napster came out, we all thought it was the shit, man. Like, we've got free music forever. Like, this is like, wow, check this out, and then, and you could get movies and everything else on it. Like, we were excited. And then in a second, they turned that shit off and it was done and gone and over with. And now it's nothing. It's but a memory, you could still, go out there and pirate stuff. Do that. Don't get me wrong. But it was a harsh reality as to how quickly they can, put the kibosh on this stuff. So, yeah.
Shout out to Bright Light. I think when you think about it, he knows that you come with a passion, and you always have, right? When you get in that zone and you start feeling the flow of what you truly believe in, Captain starts, coming with the passion. Watch out, here he comes, arr, and here comes the passion.
Well, I mean, and that's why we do this, right? Because
Mhm.
it's definitely not about making money here on YouTube. We don't make any money. It's definitely not making money out on the road. It costs us money to do so. When we do these conventions and
Right.
do all of this stuff, it's for adoption. It's for it's for teaching education. It's getting people to understand what it is we got our hands on here. Because if we really sat the whole world down and said, hey, we've got some problems here. You know,
Mhm.
everybody's having trouble saving money and getting a retirement plan and all that. How about if we can fix that? Check this out. And we show them something like Hex that has 38% APY. And if people were to, you know, start moving their value into it and move it in the value that they put away in the markets into crypto, into things like Hex that are generating yield, we can make the world a better place. We can make people a lot more money. We can do better things, better inflation models. We have, you know, better rates of return. All of these things that crypto gives. If we were able to sit everybody down and really explain it to them so that they can understand it in the way that they understand their world versus they hear crypto, the first thing that your person comes to you and asks is, hey, what do you think about Shiba Inu? What do you think about, you know, Dogecoin? What do you think about these NFTs here? I just got some on Robinhood and boy, am I excited about it. It's like, no. Let's talk about what DeFi is. Let's talk about what it could bring, how it can change your life, how it can change the world, you know, and that's when I get passionate is when it means something, when we're really trying to get something across, because nobody's going to listen to us just geeking out, talking about code and shit. It's not going to happen. The world does not give a shit about our code, you know, and that's why I try when I get here with the devs and I bring GIF and everybody in, I want them to explain, you know, what's the value? What is going to get somebody, a normal person, excited? Somebody that does not want to lift the hood up on your shit. They just want to get in, turn it on, and put their foot on the gas and go with it. You know what I mean? And that's what you have to explain. And then you also have to bring stability. You have to bring integrity. You have to bring a product to market that people can trust. You've got to bring trust. So that's why I say, you know, put your devs on screen, let them talk, let people know who they are. You know, that's what got me fired up about Richard, because I watched Richard. I watched who he was. I watched what he was saying. I watched his body language. I watched how passionate he was about the things that he was speaking of. And when you hear Richard talk and when you hear him get passionate about things, it's about things that matter. It's about things that matter to me. It was about things that I wanted to see better in crypto. So we have to expose that in all of us, because everybody's capable of doing it. Not just Richard, not just me, not just you guys. Everybody's capable of doing it and telling their story. And that's what has to happen, because the regulatory, when they come, they're putting us all in the same basket as drug dealers, money launderers, and terrorist supporters. That's who we all are right here to them. That's all the DeFi wallets, all the people in the DeFi space. That's all we can see you guys as, because that's what we think this is. And the centralized crypto finance world is going to be spreading that narrative also, that DeFi is evil, that DeFi is the one. And that's what we're going to have to go up against, is all of crypto once again. And we're already battle hardened for that, especially Hexicans. We should be leading the way on all this. Is that the Bitcoiners are going to come after us, the Feds are going to come after us, and the whole rest of the world is going to be like expecting us to explain ourselves. And we better be damn good and ready to do so when our time comes, because we're going to get one shot at it. We're going to get one shot at it. And we better have our shit together. We better have our stories in line. They better know who the real people are out here who are building and doing things and want the world to be a better place, and expose the centralized exchange world for who they are. Don't ever let them forget who FTX is. Don't ever let them forget that they were about to back that shit. Don't ever let them forget that they sold all their Bitcoin to BlackRock. Don't ever let them forget that shit. We have to keep that forefront. We have to tell them, you know, you guys had this thing, but you sold out. You sold out the mining operations to all the pools. You sold your Bitcoin to the financial institutions out there, and you stifled innovation by trying to hurt DeFi and trying to lie about people like Richard Hart, who were good for this system, who were good for it. And you guys called him a scammer. And you guys sent lawyers and the SEC and everybody else after the one guy that did the right thing for you guys. Not only that, he backed your Bitcoin up all that time when it was worth a shit. When he realized that it wasn't worth a shit and that all of you were a bunch of punk ass bitches that weren't going to back him up, that weren't going to back up anything good, he bailed on you guys and said, fuck you, I'll do it on my own. If you guys can't do it, won't do it, and are going to let all this bullshit fucking slide, then fine, I'll go do it on my own. And that's what he did. And that's what I get passionate about, is people don't understand the real story and what's really going on here. And they'll call me, you know, a crazy maxi, and they'll call me a freaking, you know, cultist or whatever. Fuck you guys. I'm 57 years old, man. I've been around this world. I know good people, bad people, all kinds of different people. Richard Hart is a good man. He's done good work. And that's why I sit here and back it up, because I want this to exist for other people. I want this to be here for the guys that have worked their asses off, that don't have a freaking retirement plan, for the single mom that's trying to buy a house for her and her daughter. It's those people that I want this to be here for. And that's why I go out and do what I do. And that's why I get passionate about it, because that's what Richard's been telling us to go do. You guys do it. You guys have to be it. You know, and he's taught us. He taught us. He gave us all the tools that we need. He taught us about liquidity. He taught us about markets. He taught us about good code. He taught us about not trusting things. He taught us about not FOMOing and not doing stupid shit. He taught us all that stuff. And if you didn't learn, then you need to go back and watch a lot of all Richard's old videos so that you can get yourself in the game, because we need everybody in the game for these next year or so to find out what is going to happen to us all. So, sorry, man. You know,
no. Here, mic drop. There we go. Good shit.
At least you got the Trump candidacy right. So when was the last time we had a presidential candidate that was releasing DeFi products and whatnot? So
yeah. We'll see what happens with all that.
We got 30 days, brother. We got 30 days to see what happens. There's been a couple attempts. Let's just leave it at that, right? There's been a couple attempts on the dude, and you know, I don't know if he's the end all be all for all America's problems. It's not. I mean, people need to rise up, and they need to fight for their freedoms and fight for these things such as DeFi, because at the end of the day, you know, the things that we're building in DeFi, it's, you know, it's the escape from the matrix, it's escape from the government institutions and the corporate entities that are trying to enslave you. And so he is a good fundamental piece that could really help change the trajectory of where America is going at the present moment, because it's kind of been going to hell in a handbasket. We all know this. But there's great people out here. There are great people out here, the salt of the earth. RG, you know it. You know, you're putting your boots on at 3 a.m, just like I've done. There are great dudes out here, great women out here. I think the thing that I'm real excited about is the women of crypto really rising up. You know, if you look at a segment of population where you got the ETH bros, I think the women of crypto are going to rise up this cycle. And I think I hope so. Yeah. You know, their voice is needed. Their story is needed. Let's face it. When you have one demographic that kind of dominates a space, especially like this, an important space like this, you get a bunch of minutia. And what do I mean by that? So let's face it, the crypto space is loaded with young males 25 to 35. That's probably the major demographic. I mean, I know there's all us and there's women, there's all kinds of other people, but let's look at the main demographic, you know, what their likes, needs, desires are, what their knowledge is, what their wisdom is, the things that they've been through, what did they know about, you know. So a lot of them think that what they're doing is brand new shit. Like Sam didn't know that he was just mimicking what, you know, Bernie Madoff did back in the freaking 80s. Right. You know, and Bernie did it for 20 years. Sam only had
got away with it for about three or four. So there are people that did it better than him. So a lot of this demographic doesn't really understand the rest of the world. So relating to the rest of the world, what it is that they got here, because let's face it, these young men, they have their own language. They understand their code. They understand their trading. They understand that world, that microcosm of crypto that they've created, versus how expandable it is to bring in the rest of the world, you know? And I know there's a few maxis out there trying to get, you know, countries to adopt Bitcoin. They've already got, you know, Wall Street to buy into Bitcoin. But what they did was they sold out.
Yep.
They sold out. And we know that when we look at this country and we see what happened to this country, was this country got sold out. They sold us to the highest bidder. We're not run by individual, you know, legislators and congressmen and senators and presidents. We're run by money, by politicians that get paid by lobby groups to pass legislation that benefits their companies and gouges us. You know, we're the only country that has gone backwards in their system of democracy and in democratic systems. We've gone backwards. We've allowed money to infiltrate and become speech and become how our country gets swayed. All you got to do is go look at Citizens United, and it tells you, and that's something that just happened within the last decade. And it tells you that, you know, the money tells you that your vote don't mean shit and that they're more powerful than you, you know? And that's what we've resorted to. So we've got to figure out a way that the system changes from entities and big money running things to human beings with sensibility. Like, I don't care what side of the aisle you're from. I hate this red, blue, Democrat, Republican bullshit. Yep. I don't belong in any of your damn clubs. I believe in certain things. And a lot of the things, some of the things that I believe in may not fit in what some of you believe. And that's fine. It's about 10% of my bullshit and 10% of your bullshit that we don't agree upon. But about 90% of it, taking care of our neighbors, being good to one another, you know, prosperity, the ability for everybody to be free and do the things that they want to do without hurting others, all these kinds of things. We all agree on that stuff.
Yep.
You know, but instead we get divided on the little 10% of the bullshit. We get divided, and then they push money into things. And then the people don't get to decide how things are run. The money gets to decide how we get run. And that's the biggest problem in the world today, is that the people are being, you know, they got a boot on their neck. And because of the financial issues that everybody's going through, man, people just, it's hard to get up and fight when you got a boot on your neck. You know what I mean? And somehow, some way, we got to get that boot lifted just enough so that people can get up and start fighting.
Yep.
Hey, we got another guest. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Age, right? Coming right at the end here. What's happening, Mike?
Yeah, no, I've been working on my Monte Carlo or bust. I was listening to you. Just working. So I'm really excited, starting this Sunday at 12 noon of Eastern, if anyone wants to join. So what I've got is I've got a wallet that started off just under 1,000 with the ETH. It was $1,000, but with the ETH fees taken out, it ended up about 920. But and obviously there's been movements, so it's looking good. Good start. So the whole premise is we're going to buy something in Monte Carlo. I want to get enough money, and I tell you now, a parking spot is $230,000. So if I get a parking spot, I'll be very, very, very pleased. So, and each week I'm going to try and look at different things in Monte Carlo. Monte Carlo is a subsection of Monaco, for you, those guys who don't know, and it's a tiny country in between France and Italy. And goodness knows how it existed. It has been in a whole bunch of wars, but they managed to squeeze through them, and their own principality with a royal family, and obviously the casino Monte Carlo, which for 200 years actually brought all the money into Monaco. So I'm going to tell you guys all about that over the coming weeks and months. So yeah, we're just going to learn a bit more about Monte Carlo, and see
That
how the
casino
money
is 200 years old.
Oh no, it's a little bit older than that, but it was chopped up between Italy and France, and Italy and France. Then the Nazis came in. It was neutral at the start of the Second World War, but the Nazis annexed it. And well, yeah, it's just had tons of stuff going on. Good.
All the history out there is sick. I mean, when I went to Malta, I mean, that place is like, and it has another crazy history.
Oh man, I got some Malta stories as well. I was in the Navy, and the Royal Navy. My old man was on warships in like the aircraft carriers that pulled into Malta, and they left and took everything like with them. And then Malta was basically given away to another country. So, so they went
multiple times.
Second World War, they loved us because HMS Illustrious, the ship I was on, they were being besieged by the Nazis. Yeah. There's no food to get through, and they ended up eating all the animals on the, including the cats, the dogs, the rats. Jeez. Nothing left. And then HMS Illustrious came in with about 10 supply ships. They started off at about 25 ships, but when they got in, they broke the siege, as it were. But then the crap got bombed out of the island, and everyone, like we pulled in years later in the new HMS Illustrious, and they all kind of were praising us, and they were just like laid out the red carpet. But of course, what they didn't realize, the reason it got bombed so badly is because the old HMS Illustrious was right in the middle, and the Nazis wanted to destroy the HMS Illustrious. That's why the whole island got bombed.
Oh,
but anyway, but yeah, it was great. I love Malta. It's a weird place.
The history there, you know, was insane. All the different, you know, the cannon outcroppings over the port there, and just watching the history of all the different countries that have come through there and taken over, and then the people themselves, you know, are kind of an amalgamation of all of these others. And then when you look into Malta even more, like they're one of the oldest, if not the oldest. Now I think they've actually deemed it the oldest human civilizations is found there. You know, and they've got different sites. And I got to go to one of the sites. It's right in the middle of the city. You know, you walk down and boom, you go into this building, and it's like right in the middle of the city. And then bam, they found these caves that were carved out that are just insane. The art, though, the work that was done in there, and this was done prehistory. Like those people were there for hundreds of years, thousands of years, or whatever it was, and then they left the island. Like they left, and you know, and they were even gone before other civilizations came in. Just really, really cool stuff, man. Really cool stuff.
The Knights of St. John as well. I don't know if you caught up with them when you were there, Captain. So the Maltese cross is on the flag of Malta, but the Maltese cross comes from the Knight of St. John. So St. John's ambulance, really in Jerusalem in the 1200s, the Knights Hospitaller they were called. They were actually.
That's why the Red Cross has the Red Cross too, because of Malta and the like you said, St. John's Cross, and the whole world now recognizes that symbol, because that's what Malta was like a hospital island also during different wars.
Well, that they were the Knights Hospitaller in Jerusalem. So in Jerusalem they stuck people back together, but 200 years later they were crazy ass knights, and they were like murdering, thieving Knights of St. John, and. They escaped from Rhodes, another island in Greece, ended up traveling being chased by the Suleiman Empire. They ended up in Malta. There was 500 of them. 70,000 Moors came ashore like 2 years later, and these knights had got together with the Maltese, built a couple of forts. They managed to defeat them. And there's an awesome little book called... I know it's like the largest siege or something like that. It's a great book. Yeah, well, but anyway, that's Malta. I'm talking about Monte Carlo, though, which is even richer.
Yes.
Yeah. So, but yeah, Malta's awesome. So I don't know what Monte Carlo. I mean, there are tax benefits. I don't know if there are crypto tax benefits, but I will find out, and I will let you guys know. So here's the whole thing. It's going to be fun. So you can send people that aren't really into crypto along. There's going to be lots of race cars eventually, because of course there's the Monte Carlo Rally, and then there's the Monte Carlo Grand Prix. So I can snip and I can have fair use with plenty of that sort of stuff, and kind of spin it into crypto ideas and things, getting wrecked and not getting wrecked. So we're going to be plenty of car crashes as well on the intros and outros. I've been working on them. So yeah, excited about that. 12 o'clock noon. at the Cryptopactor. Come and hang out with me, guys, and throw some tomatoes or
Cool.
tomatoes or tomatoes.
Right on. Anything else, anybody, before I call it a night? I
No.
got
I'm
some
gonna-
surf to get to tomorrow.
Yeah, you do it too. And I was about to hop off myself. Do some yachting there, buddy. When you're in Monte Carlo, do some yachting. Go have fun. Yeah, for sure.
Cool.
Right on. Hey, Simon, thanks for coming, bud. Appreciate you always showing up. Crypto Compassion. Good to have you.
Good to have you,
All
brother.
right, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with us. We'll catch you next week. SJ, we have anything? No? Yes, maybe. Other than the 31st is now the court date for Richard Hart, and the 1st will be our event. So if you go to PulseChainTour.com, you can see where our event is for the Richard Hart court case and be part of that. There are tickets still available. If you use code RG3, I think you still get, no, you don't get discounts on that. You get discounts on the Vegas event, which is going to be the 369 PulseChain Tour event. You can feel free to go ahead and, what was that? 20% discount. That's right. It was a 20% discount. And then after about a week or so, there's not going to be much of a discount at all. 10%, right? Yeah. Goes down to 10, something like ish. Okay. I don't know. But anyway, go to PulseChainTour.com so you can come hang out at the events with us. Thanks everybody for coming. We will see you next week. See you. Bye.